What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Goose Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Oh man, it was an interesting day to say the least. I went to Washington Commanders practice with Rio, checking it out, seeing what the Washington Commanders looked like, and yeah, it's totally different going to Washington training camp than the Dallas Cowboys. And before any of you crazy ass mother humpers think that I'm actually a Washington Commanders fan, come on, be for real. Be for real. Here's the thing. I've actually been to Eagles practice before. Actually, one time in the Link. That's right. I've been to Washington. Yeah, I've been to the Giants. And we know I'm not a fan of the Giants or the Eagles either. But see, here's the thing. We got to face those guys twice a year. And it's better to know what you're facing. It's called scouting, if you know what I mean. So, an interesting thing here. You know, Cowboys are now finished with practicing in Oxnard. It's done. And it seems like that time went like the blink of an eye. I can't believe that it's already come and gone. In fact, building up and thinking and planning and going to Oxnard and everything else, I got there and it was just like, boom. And I'm back here. And we are literally 29 days and about 23 hours away from training camp. From the kickoff of the season. This weekend, we've got our first preseason game. 1 of 3, and then we got the season. It is upon us. The last bit of this hot-ass weather will be gone soon, and before we know it, we'll be raking up leaves. Interesting tad bit. If you hadn't noticed, the Cowboys, they released their unofficial depth chart. And one of the guys that has been getting a lot of practice, actually, at left guard, has been Connor McGovern, the governor. And we're at the point of the Cowboys have to figure out if this guy is going to be a good player or not. Last year he had a hard time getting to the second level. They actually benched Connor Williams. They brought him in, and he didn't quite make it with what they had hoped. And then they ended up going back to Connor Williams. So Connor Williams is gone, and of course we've drafted Tyler Smith. But what the Cowboys have been doing in practice is they've been trying to get Connor McGovern more work. And in fact, Connor McGovern, who was also a center in college, is going to get some more reps at center as well. They really want to get him involved in the offensive line. But they also have invested a number 1 pick in Tyler Smith. And so you don't want to put the number 1 pick and say, this guy's not going to play. Hence the reason why they're trying to get him some practice time and get him up to speed. Now, Joe Pheben, offensive line coach Joe Pheben. I'm not sure that he's a great offensive line coach. I just don't. To me, here's the thing. It's kind of like a chef. Never trust a chef that's skinny. That's just my own personal thing. If you're a good cook, you've eaten a lot. You tasted it a lot. It's good, You see a chef that's like this big, I don't trust a chef that's this big. They may be the best chef in the world, but I look at Emerald. Emerald, he's kind of short, stocky, kind of thick there. You see like Guy Fieri. Guy Fieri, he's not exactly that thin, although I don't think he cooks that much. But most of your really good chefs, they're not skinny minis. You don't trust the skinny chef. And it's something about Joe Pheben and looking at him being this big, and you say, that's an offensive line coach? Well, apparently, Joe Pheben wasn't exactly on board with the Tyler Smith pick. He's not sold on Tyler Smith, is what I'm hearing rumors of. But that's one of those cases that he needs to get on board, whether he wanted him or not before. you got him, and you got to make the most of him. But I'm not sure that, like I said, that Joe Phoeben is the best coach for the offensive line. I can't remember his name now, but Mr. Ketchup Bottle. God, what was his name? We brought him in from, I think, Cincinnati. His big thing was to tell about an offensive lineman's intelligence by, if they knew to tap on the 57 on the ketchup bottle. See, a lot of us will shake the ketchup, we're going to try and get the ketchup out. But technically, if you tilt it to the side and tap on the 57, the ketchup will come out easy. Because what it'll do is, it's at the right angle that tapping sensation allows it to go down and the air to go in, and that way it goes out. It was Paul something or other was his name. He was here for about a half season. They fired him in the middle, and they ended up bringing back a former Cowboys offensive lineman who went to New York, but got the offensive line back on track. I'm having brain farts tonight. I think I'm just tired. Paul, what was his last name? But here's the thing. That's great that you know about a ketchup bottle. You're intelligent. But that doesn't mean you know how to block. It doesn't mean you know how to block. See, I need an offensive line coach who's big enough to get in there and showing me how to hit the pads or hit the players. It's big enough to kind of grab a hold of them, throw them to the side. And I just don't think Joe Phoeben is that guy. And that was one of those hires that it sounded good when we first hired a lot of these guys, because you look and you said, well, this guy's had head coaching experience. He worked in Miami. That maybe we've got all these coaches that have had different views and things that were successful other places, and we take a little piece from here, a little piece from here. We take the best, kind of like the American melting pot, where you take a little bit of, this culture's great ideas and this culture's great ideas, and we put them all together, and our sum is greater than the parts. That sounded good. It just didn't quite work out that way. And let's be clear, our defense is going to be stout. Our defense is going to be great. I have no worries or doubts about the defense. But the offensive line is the question mark that you still kind of wonder. How are these guys going to be? And how are the second level of guys going to be? Because we're going to be having the Matt Lewinsky's who are backing up Tyron Smith at the moment, or the Josh Balls. Guys that have not played snaps in the NFL. And I need a coach who can really coach them up and get them ready to go. And this again goes back to my biggest problem with Cowboys. The Cowboys are more reactive than proactive. And bringing back Money Maher is one of those cases of you waited too long to try and get a really good kicker. Now, I'll be the first to say, from what I've seen with Garibay, Maher is definitely a more experienced and better kicker than he has. But the reality is Garibay shouldn't have been in here in the first place, thinking that this guy was going to be ready to be your kicker. And if we have to kick, oh, Lord. Wow. We're still dealing with the problem that we've had for several years. And sometimes it makes you wonder, the Cowboys are the dumbest smart people you've ever seen. They have great talent in finding guys that nobody else did. They've been great at picking first-round draft picks in comparison to teams like the Eagles. But then they drop the ball on things like kickers, things that are really important. And I just don't understand it. But anyway, I appreciate you guys and you ladies for being here and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. We're going to live stream the Cowboys preseason game on Saturday. I'm assuming that it's going to be on DirecTV or on TV or online, or so. It's going to be someplace, and we're going to be watching it. I hope it's not just NFL Network where they're going from team to team and they're kind of like talking, oh, Lord, then that'll kind of ruin my day. But definitely we're going to get the outdoor man cave fired up out here. Which means I need to do some work. I need to clean up a little bit. Got leaves and shit everywhere. Anyway, remember, tell the people you love them. Because you might not get the chance again. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow, God willing. Have a great night and be careful out there.
We breathe, we sleep, we die. Cowboys. So this year, we're really excited. We was there when we didn't get it done. We played against the Niners. But at the same time, it's like having a new coach. COVID and all these other things are sort of like maybe derailed us in some areas. This year, man, I saw Dak at a restaurant. Slim, looked good, his jawline, everything looked good. So we just, we got high hopes this year because I think as I talked to Michael Parsons, he says the game is slowed down for him now. When he first, started, he said things were moving fast, but he knows the game, and he says he got a different look in his eye because we always say this: who's the dog?